Doug Brown with NFL news from ESPN's Adam Schefter. Dolphins cornerback Artie Burns will miss the 2025 season with a torn ACL. He got hurt in the opening minutes of the team's first training camp practice. Miami offensive lineman Byron Matos is still hospitalized with an undisclosed injury after being airlifted from that same practice. In Pittsburgh, ESPN's Chris Canty believes it'll be a very long season for Coach Mike Tomlin and the Steelers.
Oldest team in the AFC, second oldest team in the entire league, and the most expensive defense in the entire league. And a washed-up Aaron Rodgers going into his age 42 season. In what world is that a formula for success in today's game?
Chris Canty on Unsportsmanlike. Jets quarterback Justin Fields carted off the practice field today with a dislocated toe on his right foot. ESPN's Rich Cimini reports Fields should be ready for the start of the season. There's no timetable for Indiana Fever guard Caitlin Clark's return to the floor. She's already missed 11 games this season with various injuries.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Canty, coming on Friday. I said that the Pittsburgh Steelers will finish last in their division. So what does that mean for Mike Tomlin's future? The answer might just surprise you. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
That's right. Woo!
Off and running, welcome in. Another edition of After Further Review. Musso in for Moscona here on a Thursday, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Jacob Beck, Paul O'Neill along for the ride. Of course, we're fired up to have all of you along for the ride as well. Thank you for making us a part of your Thursday. We got a lot to go through here again on today's show. Day number 2 of Saints training camp in the books. We got to talk to the quarterbacks today. Heard from Spencer Rattler, heard from Tyler Shough, Jake Haener, really all of them. Even Hunter Deckers took a turn. Ross Jackson will be here straight up 5 o'clock to give us the boots on the ground report out of Saints training camp. He was there. What did he see? Now that you've seen Shough and Rattler with the ones, how's that shaking out early? It was Clemson's turn at ACC Football Media Days, so we heard from Dabo Swinney. We'll kind of take our first look at Clemson, be able to kind of dive into the matchups a little bit for the first time as well here. And realignment rumors are back with the ACC and the SEC, a team that might surprise you, though, when you hear who's kind of driving these rumors and who is at the center of them. So plenty to do, and let us begin as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
All right, we'll begin with Saints training camp, day number 2. Some twists, some turns. The defense really had a nice go of it in the red zone. But again, I mean, we'll focus mainly on quarterback here. So Tyler Shough obviously got his first turn with the ones here on Thursday in Saints training camp. That means Spencer Rattler went with the 2s. Jake Haener once again ran with the 3s today down in Metairie. And for Shough, it was another spotty day, I guess, if that's really the right word there. We'll let you hear from him in a minute on what he thought of the day and things of that nature. He did throw the only touchdown pass for a quarterback in Thursday's practice. It was a crossing route to Rashid Shaheed in the red zone. Spencer Rattler threw the only interception for the quarterbacks today. Quincy Riley got him also in red zone period as well. Rattler was just trying to, well, look, I'll let you hear it from him. Spencer Rattler actually today after practice talked about his interception.
Yeah, it was a really clean day up until that. I think that's the biggest focus is we had to keep, finish the day out strong. You got to start fast and finish faster. But yeah, just got to, make a smart play, throw it away further if I'm going to do it in the back of the end zone. But you got to respond, next play mentality. They want to open it up, go ahead and run it in.
So there you go. I mean, he was trying to throw the ball away, didn't put enough on it. Quincy Riley, rookie, athletic guy, makes a play. And honestly, that's a feather in the cap for Quincy Riley. That's one of the guys that we wanted to see here as the Saints really got into training camp because he missed the rest of the offseason, workouts with a nagging injury. So all in all, pretty decent. But you heard him there even say, you bounce back the next play. Next play, he made a great decision, took off running. Kellen Moore actually lauded that play and that decision in his post-practice media availability. But I think what was more interesting is not necessarily, the quarterbacks, how they performed in day two. It's day two, right? It's still early. There's still a long, long way to go here in this competition. But it was just interesting to kind of hear from them. Tyler Shough. I mean, that's the guy that everybody obviously wants to see. That's the guy that many believe is the favorite in this competition for all the reasons that we've laid out, whether it's, the second-round pick, Kellen Moore, that's his guy, right, for lack of a better term, the fully guaranteed contract, all of those things. Tyler Shough spoke after practice about his first day with the ones and how he thought it went.
For me, the approach is the same. I'm going to go in and command the huddle, to the best of my ability. But I think today I was really intentional, about my first time getting it with them, that coming in and having a presence, being loud and being, we're having that dialogue with all those guys. And I wanted them to know that I'm coming in, ready to do the job. And I think it was a really good day operationally wise. And then it was a lot of fun being out there, even though it was a shorter red zone day. But to kind of keep rolling, it felt really good.
I like that he notes that he was more intentional and more vocal and really wanted to kind of announce his presence there with the ones. Not to say that he wouldn't do that, obviously just with whatever unit he's out there or that it would impact, his ability in the locker room and anything like that. But I like that approach from him, where it's like, the approach to how I play, that doesn't change. I want to go out there and have smooth operation. I want to be decisive, all of those things. But in terms of, I went out there and really tried to command the huddle here on my first day with the first group. That stood out. I like that because it shows the leadership that we've obviously heard so much about Tyler Shough. And a main thing in winning this competition is commanding the huddle. You look at, he mentioned operation, and that's something that Kellen Moore has really, really just driven home time and time again, really every time he's been in front of a microphone. Decisiveness, operation. Tyler Shough expanded more on operation and really how that is central and in the forefront of the focus for this staff.
You want to play on time and do everything you can, but sometimes a guy's going to slip or maybe run the wrong route or maybe late, or we may have a block, and that's just part of it. The defense, they're out here working their butts off. They're going to win some reps too, so we got to try and make a play, and then sometimes the best play is a throwaway. Our best play is running it, and that really stuck with me, just kind of working with a lot of these coaches, and they understand that that's what they're looking for. They don't really care about, the perfect throw stat-wise or whatever it is going to be, because in the game, the bullets are flying. You got to go make a play and operate.
You got to go make a play and operate. It's the end of that cut that I love so much where he says, the coaches don't care about really making the perfect throw statistically. These guys, all of them, can make the throw. Like, if you're at this level, competing for a starting quarterback job in the NFL, you can make all the throws. The question is, can you do it when the bullets are flying? And it's not necessarily making that throw when the bullets are flying as much as it is maybe knowing when to not make that throw when the bullets are flying. And the decisiveness, the operation of the offense, all of that goes hand in hand. Live to fight another day, right? And again, that's what you go to Spencer Rattler. That's what he was trying to do. He just didn't put enough on the ball, and Quincy Riley intercepts it. What's interesting with Rattler is he's actually been through this kind of already. Derek Carr was the starting quarterback a year ago, but there was very much a competition for the backup role. Jake Haener, Spencer Rattler. And we talked a lot about that during training camp a year ago. And Spencer Rattler, this is number one, Beck, was asked if there's anything that he can really pull from last year's competition for the backup spot that is similar and can help him this go round competing for the starting job.
Yeah, I think it's similar, another competition, just for a different role. Feel good coming into this, felt good coming in OTAs, minicamp, and feel good right now. Obviously, a lot of stuff to clean up, but everybody looks good. The guys look good. Loving our QB room. I think it's been great. We love building with each other, and then we go out there and compete. So I think it's great for all of us.
That is an interesting dynamic that I don't think has really been considered. not that these guys, I mean, again, you get to this level, you've been involved in a quarterback competition at some level of football before. So it's not unfamiliar, right? I mean, Tyler Shough had it in college. I mean, Justin Herbert beat him out, right? So, but it is interesting at this level, and that's the thing with Rattler, right, is he's not only been through a quarterback competition, albeit for a backup, he's been through a year in the NFL. And if there is the advantage that Rattler has in this competition, it is that. It is the experience. It is going from year one to year two. You hear it's the biggest jump, right, that you're going to make. You always hear, the jump from year one to year two in the NFL is huge, and you expect that so much from different guys. Some guys it comes for, others it just doesn't. But Rattler was asked how he has evolved already, how he's noticed the evolution of himself as a player on the field, off the field, going into year two.
Just kind of knowing what to expect, finding areas of weaknesses that I needed to get better at in the offseason and, kind of circling those and attacking those. And then just the overall preparation of everything, just really mastering it, really owning my craft, and, feel like I've taken steps in that area.
It's fascinating because you've already seen that really kind of play out. I mean, Kellen Moore on Wednesday, when he was asked, why Rattler got first crack at the reps with the ones, and I mean, the answer basically boiled down to seniority. Like he'd been through this already once. And I think where you're really seeing that, just again, kind of reading the tea leaves, we had Matthew Paris on yesterday. He was at camp. We'll have Ross Jackson on again here today. Decisiveness is where you're really, really seeing that with Spencer Rattler. You look at Tyler Shough so far, he's been the more, antsy, if you will, of the two. He's playing a little bit more sped up. And again, you expect that at this point in time. It's his first foray into this deal. He's a rookie. You always see growing pains. What's going to be intriguing and interesting and really the telltale sign of the thing to watch is as Shough gets deeper and deeper into this camp, can he become more decisive and kind of equal the decisiveness that Spencer Rattler is already putting forth? And if he does that, and all things are equal, then the decision really comes down to, okay, if you're Kellen Moore, do you want your guy that you brought in, or do you want the guy who's started NFL games before to go forward? The thing with Kellen Moore is he's got time. This is not a situation like a guy like Brian Daboll is facing up in New York with the Giants where, hey, man, it's win now or you're out of here. The Saints are a very patient organization, and Kellen Moore is going to get plenty of time. So winning really in terms of the long term, right, of the franchise is not of the utmost importance for Kellen Moore right now. It's establishing himself as a head coach. But in order to do that, which guy do you want? And if all things end up equal, that's when this will be really, really intriguing. But I mean, so far through 2 days, I think that's really my biggest takeaway. Decisiveness from Spencer Rattler is really standing out, and you might see Tyler Shough just playing a little bit sped up, maybe a little bit antsy as he gets his feet wet, really for the first time in the NFL in team drills and actually facing a defense. So it'll be fascinating to watch. They're back on the practice field again Friday. We'll obviously bring you a report from that day. Ross Jackson will be here straight up 5 o'clock to give us the boots on the ground and what he saw at Saints training camp. Okay, let's grab a break. We'll come back on the other side. It's a Thursday edition of AFR presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Musso is in for Moscona. LSU, ESPN took a stab at the swing game in the 2025 schedule, and I could not disagree more. We'll talk about that next here on AFR.
After further review.
Brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001-752-0001, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. I love sharing 5-star Google reviews. Here's one from Ricky Gomez, who said Chris, his technician, was very professional and knowledgeable during the HVAC evaluation. He provided details and recommendations in a clear and concise manner. That's one of the things that always stands out. If you're having an issue with your AC or your heater, and River City's 1 Hour Air sends out a technician for an evaluation, they're going to explain your options to you. And that may sound simple, but none of it, I don't know anything about an HVAC, neither do you. Let's be honest. So whenever they go get up in your attic or they go look at your HVAC unit on the side of your house and they come talk to you, they're going to explain very clearly what's happening and your options to remedy it. It's River City's 1 hour air. Look for the big yellow vans and trucks with the giant clock on the side. 752-0001.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe. My whole team on wild.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Brack teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
Brought to you by Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. You know, when we talk about Relief Windows every day, I always say windows, doors, siding. And now shutters as well. They do your indoor shutters. Same thing as the windows. Custom made, measured to fit your windows, custom fit for your windows, lifetime warranty on your windows, your shutters. But Brandon, you often hear say their number one product is customer satisfaction. And that's not just a catchy line. That's not a cliche phrase. Have an experience with Relief Windows and you'll understand. They go to the ends of the earth to make sure their customers are thrilled with the work they do. As a matter of fact, Relief Windows never takes a dollar from you. You will not, no deposit, no down payment. They take all the risk. They will not take a dollar until you're thrilled with the work they do. Who else does that? Only Relief Windows. Check them out online at reliefwindows.com.
All right, back here after Further Review on a Thursday. Musso in for Moscona. Quick recap there of day 2 in Saints training camp to open the show. I want to shift the focus a little bit now back to LSU football. And for what it's worth, Clemson took their turn at ACC Media Days here on Thursday, so we'll get to the LSU Clemson game kind of from the standpoint of the Clemson Tigers a little bit later on. But that factors into this conversation as well. So ESPN, they went ahead and tried their best to nail the swing game on each top 25 team's schedule. And the one they picked for LSU was very predictable, and I cannot disagree with it more. So we won't bury the lead. ESPN tabs the swing game on LSU schedule as the opener at Clemson, August 30th. And while, again, I understand it is a very important game, it is a game that we all want to see LSU win because they have not won an opener since 2019. You are 0 for your last 5, and Brian Kelly specifically is 0 for his last 3, and it's been the same things that have really hampered you in that. And we've talked plenty about how LSU has taken the different approach this year, and they've put a lot of emphasis on it, and it makes a lot of sense to tab that as the game, right? But the opener, I will never call that a swing game because you have 11 more games after that. And in a playoff era, especially an expanded playoff era, you have more margin for error. Hell, you could go back to 2014 when it was just a 4-team playoff. Ohio State lost the second game of the season, but they didn't lose the rest of the time. They won the Big Ten. They end up getting in. They win the whole thing. LSU, just look at a year ago. The opener, we put so much emphasis on that game a year ago in previewing LSU, USC. And man, you have to have this, right? And that was even in the first year of an expanded playoff to 12 teams. And LSU lost that game by 1 possession. You know what? That didn't swing LSU season. The game that swung LSU season, looking back at it now, was October 26th at Texas A&M. That's the one that did it. You went into that game with first place in the SEC on the line. You were heading into a bye week, knowing exactly what you'd be playing for in the month of November. You had a 10-point lead in that game, and you blew it in the second half. And that ultimately swung your season for a lot of different reasons. Number one, you were exposed against a running quarterback. You had to play Alabama the very next week. But even losing the opener, you were right there in lockstep, late in October, heading into your second bye, playing for first place in the SEC West. And if you win that game, you have 4 weeks left with 1 loss. But you didn't. And that ultimately swung your season. And something similar is going to happen this year for LSU. It's not going to be Clemson. And there's a couple reasons why. Look, I'm not saying that if LSU wins that game, it can't set the tone. And man, it opens things up a little bit more for you if you get that one out of the way with a W. But it's not going to swing the year. It's a non-conference game. I have 2 games that I look at that I say, okay, that's where you could start to see LSU season swing. And I operate this as someone who believes LSU is going to lose to Clemson in the opener. So I start this conversation with LSU at 0-1. You're obviously going to be at least 1-1 when you meet Florida, but that's not it. For me, the first game that swings LSU's schedule is September the 27th at Ole Miss. The home team has won 5 straight in that series. Now, while Vaught Hemingway hasn't been a complete house of horrors for LSU, I mean, the last time you were there, it was just a shootout, and they made one more play than you did. You were Chris Hilton's fingertips away from winning that game, too. But the home team has won the last 5 in that series. And when you look at LSU, I think they're 3-1 going into that game. Ole Miss is likely undefeated. Ole Miss, their first 4 games are Georgia State, at Kentucky, Arkansas, Tulane. 3 out of those 4 are at home. Yes, Kentucky beat them a year ago. Fine. That's a legitimate revenge spot, and I just do not expect that to happen to Ole Miss again. You're looking at teams that would both be 1-0. That's got a lot riding on it potentially there in the early part of the season. So Ole Miss would be the first one, both for SEC and playoff for both teams. And if you're LSU, you can get over that hump and finally break the trend that you've seen of the home team winning that game. That moves you into 4-1, heading into your first bye. And then you have made it through the early part of your season, and you look at games against South Carolina and on the road at Vanderbilt coming off of your bye. Both games that you will be favored in and both games that you should win. And if you get over that Ole Miss hurdle, that would put you at 6-1 heading into your other swing game. And it's the one that swung your season a year ago, and it's Texas A&M at home. That's a game that LSU must win. To know what you're playing for in November. It's in the same exact spot that it was on the schedule a season ago. Even if LSU loses that game to Ole Miss, you still just have one SEC loss. Texas A&M, while I think the Ole Miss game is important and does provide a little bit of a swing, Texas A&M is the game. Because you're either going in there as a 2-loss team, but only one in the SEC with still plenty to play for, or you're going in there undefeated in the league, playing for first place the same way you did a year ago. And Texas A&M, if you look at their schedule, should have no issue outside of Notre Dame. Texas A&M, their first two are layups. Then they're on the road at Notre Dame. They will probably lose that football game. But then their next three are at home against Auburn, Mississippi State, and Florida. And everybody is really high on A&M potentially being that team to take the next step. I can't definitively sit here. They beat Auburn. They definitely beat Mississippi State. Florida, okay, that's interesting, but they get that game at home at Kyle Field. Then you go on the road to Arkansas. A&M beats Arkansas all the time. It's very real that they could also be 6-1 coming into this game against LSU. And why it's of the utmost importance that I look at this and go, man, you can't let that one get away, is because you talk about a streak where the home team is dominated. The home team has won the last 8 games between LSU and Texas A&M. LSU has not lost in Tiger Stadium to Texas A&M since the Aggies joined the league. And that's a game that I look at and go, man, that's the one, even more so than Ole Miss, that swings your fortune this year, because it's set. You get it, first of all, you get it at home where you've dominated them and where just the home team's dominated the series as of late. It could very well, again, for the second year in a row, have first place in the SEC on the line. And after that, you go into your bye, Alabama on deck, and you know what you have the rest of November. It's in the same exact spot as it was last year, and it swung last season. And I think both teams could be on a collision course again. So for me, it's A&M, but I throw Ole Miss in there as the caveat. Because you could be a one-loss team, you beat A&M. I'm one-loss team in conference, you beat A&M. You go into your month of November where you have to go to Alabama, but you get Arkansas at home and then Western Kentucky and Oklahoma after that. You keep your margin for error in November. And you might ask, okay, well, what about Florida? Like, why is more attention not being played to Florida? Man, if you lose to Clemson, Florida coming in here in September, that just flips everything on its head, right? You lose that one, and your margin for error is gone the rest of the way. And you're right, it is. I don't expect LSU to lose that football game. LSU has not lost back-to-back games against the Florida Gators since 2008 and 2009. They have not lost at home to Florida since the Hurricane Matthew game in 2016. And LSU largely has dominated that series as of late. Your only losses have come in Gainesville since that 2016 game, the Hurricane Matthew game. You lost to them in Gainesville in 2018. You lost to them in Gainesville a year ago. Other than that, LSU's won them. What about South Carolina, Musso? That's, right there. It's at home. You're coming off of a bye. You have lost to South Carolina twice in your entire history. South Carolina has not won in Baton Rouge since 1994. Those are games that I just look at. I think, for one, LSU is the more talented team than both of them, and both of them you get at home. I expect LSU to win those games. Could you slip up and drop them? Sure. But for me, it's Texas A&M. That is the swing game of LSU season. Just like it ended up being a year ago when a lot of us didn't really look at it that way. We were all focused on Ole Miss. And Ole Miss swung LSU season for sure a year ago. Winning that game in overtime at home was the reason you were in the position you were in to face Texas A&M with everything on the line. But ultimately, when you get to that point in the season with what could be on the line and knowing what you need left in November, Texas A&M, for me, that's an easy call. The Aggies, that's LSU's swing game here in 2025. All right, we'll grab a break. Come back on the other side. We'll go around the SEC. Stick around. It's AFR.
After further review.
We're brought to you by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com. Yes, hormone replacement therapy. Yes, NAD+. Yes, BPC 157. Yes, ED treatment. The bottom line is, gentlemen, I don't care how old you are. It's about how old you feel. And do you want to feel like you did when you were younger? Do you want to live a more vital life? Do you want to live a more energetic life where you wake up in the morning, your feet hit the floor, and you're rip-roaring ready to go, where you're motivated to get in the gym, where you have a great libido, where you have great mindset, energy, mental clarity, memory, all that sort of stuff? It's possible. It's affordable. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness can help you do it. Hormone replacement therapy could be a giant part of that for you. NAD Plus can literally help your cellular optimization to make you younger at a cellular level. BPC 157, tremendous in helping in recovery. Learn more. yourgoodwood.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $22,500 off MSRP on the brand new 2025 Ram 1500 Laramie with $22,500 off MSRP with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Businesses like yours are the soul of our community. You deserve someone who'll deliver the internet services you deserve. That's why local businesses rely on Rev Business, 90 years of building connections. Visit us at letsrev.biz.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. This, it's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
AFR is brought to you by Parish Restoration. Kill mold, remove odor, other harmful pathogens, commercial or residential. As a matter of fact, Parish Restoration, I love the process, by the way. If you go to the website at parishrestoration.com, you can see videos of their patented non-toxic dry fog treatment. So you see exactly what it looks like. Very cool. But they have fogged, over at Parish Restoration, they fogged one of the largest buildings in the entire state of Louisiana. So it doesn't matter if it's your office building, your church, whatever it may be, school, or your home. They can even fog your car. Maybe your car has a weird odor, musty smell. Maybe you bought a used car from a smoker and you can't get that smoky smell out. This will do it. They'll come while you're at work, fog it. By the time you're done with work for the day, boom, you're back in a clean smelling, fresh smelling vehicle. It's Parish Restoration. Learn more at parishrestoration.com. parishrestoration.com. Do business with someone you know. parishrestoration.com.
Breaking news as we return here to a Thursday edition of AFR. President Donald Trump has signed an executive order that will prohibit third-party pay-for-play payments in college athletics. It also directs the Secretary of Labor and the National Labor Relations Board to clarify that athletes are amateurs and not employees. Boy, conference commissioners, university presidents, they have been long lobbying for some type of federal legislation, some type of federal involvement to try and curtail things that are happening in college athletics. And on Thursday, they finally got their wish. It is important to note that this executive order does not do away with NIL. It prohibits third-party pay-for-play, but from the order, quote, does not apply to legitimate, fair market value compensation that a third party provides to an athlete, such as for a brand endorsement. So what it's trying to do is legitimize NIL, where you don't have deals upwards of $13 million, say, for a quarterback potentially, to come to your school, and that kind of maybe just be it. It is also not clear, or I shouldn't say not clear, it's unknown at this point what entity will have the authority to enforce the prohibition on the third party pay for play that's included in the order, but that will obviously come to light soon. Executive order obviously streamlines this. You don't have to, just kind of bypasses everything else. But this is really, really, really significant because it also kind of flies in the face really of the House settlement in essentially because their clearinghouse Deloitte had to say on each NIL deal that was above $500 or whatnot has to go through Deloitte and they determine if it's, fair and whatnot. Now it's unknown if they continue to do that or if there's going to be an entity of the federal government that ultimately does it. And here's the other thing. Is this actually going to do anything? I mean, obviously, you don't want to disobey federal law, but we're not going to sit here and act like that's never been done before. That companies or corporations, entity, anything like that hasn't ever tried to find a way around federal law to maximize their own gains. How much does it really curtail what's happening? That's going to be very, very intriguing. But there you go. One more thing. The order also, quote, requires the preservation and, where possible, expansion of opportunities for scholarships and collegiate athletic competition in women's and non-revenue sports. So that as well, very significant. Saying, look, you're going to see a lot of schools cut programs. This is saying you have to, it's requiring the preservation where possible, or the preservation of those sports and where possible, even expansion of opportunities in those sports. So it's the next step. It's obviously far from done. I mean, look, this just broke within the last 20 minutes. So you're trying to gather as much information as you can in a 3-minute break on it. So it's obviously can't go super deep, but President Trump signs an executive order Thursday. It will prohibit third-party pay-for-play payments in college athletics, not applying to legitimate fair market compensation for brand endorsement. It's just trying to eliminate, not eliminate, it's trying to legitimize name, image, and likeness, which is something that college leaders have wanted for a very, very long time. As we get more information on it, as it all becomes a little bit more clear, we'll obviously pass that along for you here. But again, just breaking in about the last 20 minutes or so, the White House has acted in college athletics. All right. It's AFR, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Let's go ahead and go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference. The Missouri Tigers.
Good day for Eli Drinkwitz. He got a contract extension, now carries through 2029. Missouri announced that on Thursday. I said good day, not a great day. This extension doesn't actually come with a raise for Eli Drinkwitz, but it does come with more money to spend on assistant coaches, strength and conditioning, and football support personnel. For Drink, his salary still pretty good. He's slated to make $9 million in 2025. That will increase all the way up to $9.5 million for 28 and 2029. But it was kind of slated already to do that over his current contract. It's been a good run in 6 seasons, man. 38 and 24, back-to-back 10-win seasons though. The last 2 years, 21 and 5 since 2023. They have a chance to win 10 games again here.
The Tennessee Volunteers.
Reese Chapman is our returning outfielder, I should say. Reese Chapman is returning to Tennessee baseball for a 4th season. He elected to not sign a UDFA deal after the major league draft. Started 64 games a year ago as a junior. 273, 13 homers, and 53 RBI for Vitello and the Vols.
The Florida Gators.
Late story here, but Florida left-handed pitcher Frank Menendez entered the transfer portal. Swamp 247 was able to confirm that news here on Thursday. Portal's been closed for almost a month. He was in his 2nd season with the Gators. He made 5 relief appearances, but then suffered a season-ending arm injury that cut his season short. But he was quite impressive early on. 1-0, a 1.29 ERA, 15 strikeouts per 9 innings pitched, and a 4-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. He's in the portal. We'll see where he lands next. There you have it. That is around the SEC here on a Thursday. AFR is presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. We're going to grab a break, come back, close out hour number 1. We'll see if we can find a little bit more information on the executive order that President Trump just signed dealing with pay-for-play, third-party pay-for-play in college athletics, maybe how it impacts, how settlement, things of that nature. We'll have a little bit more for that for you on the other side of the break. And also another LSU baseball player has made it official and signed his professional deal. And this one illustrates my biggest takeaway from the draft, so I want to pass that along as well. Stick around. We close out hour number 1 next.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Duplessis Builders, DuplessisBuilders.net, DuplessisBuilders.net. Y'all, whenever we talk about the pool building process, I don't want this to be boring to you, but it's important that I point out how Duplessis goes about their process, because it gives color and description to why they were able to give a 10-year workmanship warranty. Like when some companies say, we'll build your pool in 2 weeks, like that's not a real thing. At Duplessis, the excavation takes 2 to 3 days. Then they'll shoot the gunite. Takes 21 days for gunite, for concrete to cure. So they're not going to proceed until those 21 days have passed. The product will last longer, so they're not going to rush the process. After you let that tiling and coping cure for 2 weeks, then you add water. Before you add water, then you plaster. So it's why a lot of pools start to fail in 2 to 3 years, because they don't do it right. You'll never worry about that with Duplessis Builders.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
At Luba Workers Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
We're Rev Business, a local provider with nearly 90 years of experience. So when it comes to business in Louisiana, we know that personalized service is key. And we're here to go the extra mile with all fiber solutions that deliver what every business needs: reliability and quality. We're not just providers. We're the local team dedicated to helping you succeed. True partnerships are homegrown. Rev Business, internet, phone, managed services. Visit us at letsrev.biz.
River Parish Contractors has immediate openings for structural steel shop fabricators. Call or text Big Jake today at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com and click on employment. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
Brought to you by Evamore. Drink Evamore, EVAMOR, Evamore.com, Evamore.com. For elite athletes, for someone who just wants a healthier lifestyle. Maybe you're a parent, you want a healthier option for your children. Evermore is a great option. I would highly encourage you, bottom line, if you're drinking tap water, don't. Bare minimum, filter your tap water. But the best option is Evermore. This is natural artesian water. It's underground aquifers on the north shore of Lake Pontchartrain, right there in Covington. They dug a well into that aquifer, and I mean, it's literally thousands of years in the making. That's why they call it Mother Nature's masterpiece. That's what they're pulling out of the ground. The only filtration is take like the sediment from the ground out of the water, and it goes right into the bottle. So it never touches air until you uncap it, take that first delicious sip. Learn more where you can buy it, great retailers or online, EVAMOR, Evermore.com.
All right, back here after further review no, it's not Friday. Almost said Friday. On a Thursday. Ethan Fry has officially signed his deal with the Houston Astros. He got above slot, as we all knew that he would. More than $100,000 above slot as well. Fry, official deal, $997,500. So just below $1 million. I mean, well-deserved. And look, Fry had a great season. But it illustrates for me what is just my biggest takeaway from the MLB draft this year for LSU. And really what makes this team in 2025 special. And what helped lead them to be special. And I went through this on Musso at the Box immediately after the draft. But while I have a few minutes here, I'll kind of rehash some of it. The thing that stood out to me most in the draft this year with the LSU guys, current guys on the team, is how much money they were able to make for themselves throughout the season. And that's an awesome thing to witness. Like that really is. I mean, that's part of what this is about, man. Coming to a place, developing against better competition, putting yourself out there and betting on yourself and it paying off. I mean, look at Cade Anderson. Cade Anderson, before he missed his senior season of high school baseball, was a draft risk, a big one. And only gets 38 innings as a freshman. Most of that came in dominating fashion against, out-of-conference opponents. Stuff was still good. Strike thrower was projected, probably top 5 rounds coming into the draft. Maybe late second. Maybe. The guy goes number 3 overall. I mean, you're looking at somebody who was probably, not even late second. I mean, 4th, 5th round guy coming into this year, looking at $500K as a slot value, gets $8.8 million. Like, you can look at that and go, okay, he probably made somewhere in the neighborhood of $6-7 million this year at LSU. Ethan Fry is the biggest example of them all, though. Like, the tools were there for Ethan Fry, but didn't have a position, had battled injury, started in a platoon situation this year at LSU. But hits .331, 13 homers, 50 ribby, becomes a central part of LSU's lineup, everyday player. That's a guy in Ethan Fry who, you're thinking rounds 11 through 20? Ends up getting just shy of $1 million. That's the success story that you just really, you like to avoid or lean in, I guess, to like a cliche, excuse the cliche. You love to see it. That's what you love to see. And it wasn't just those guys. I mean, Anthony Ianson, same deal. Came to LSU, got more eyes on him. He gets $1 million now. Chase Shores, $2 million. That's a guy who had a high number coming out of high school. It wasn't met. He came, bet on himself. The journey wasn't what it was, what he thought it would be. But it paid off in the end. And it did for all of them. And, man, that's awesome. I mean, again, Ethan Fry is the shining example of this. Like, Cade Anderson might have made himself the most money when you look at like $6-7 million. But Ethan Fry is the shining example of guys that did the most to really kind of improve their stock. It was long thought that Ethan Fry would come back. And the thing that was going to prevent that was a team falling in love with him like the Houston Astros did and be willing to give him that money. And I think Ethan Fry is worth it. I really do. The tools are there. But he is the poster child for the overarching takeaway for this team, this past year's LSU baseball team, which is the guys who just went out there, bet on themselves, made a lot of money for themselves, and in doing so led LSU to their 8th national championship. So congratulations to Ethan Fry. Best of luck to him and the Houston Astros organization. Okay, we're going to grab a break, come back on the other side, Sports Center, national headlines. Then we'll look at Clemson. They took their turn at ACC Media Days. What did Dabo Swinney say that maybe leads you to believe something might be different in this matchup with LSU? That's next on the other side. It's AFR. Stick around.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Supper Club. You can book your reservation, supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com. One of the things about Supper Club that I love is if you want to go to Supper Club and be a baller, you can do it. You want to go to Supper Club and order a $5,000 bottle of Chateau Lafite Rothschild, you can do it. You want to go have $400 shots of cognac, you can do it. You can have experiences at Supper Club that usually are reserved for Las Vegas and New York and Paris and Abu Dhabi. Like, that's here in Baton Rouge. But the thing you got to remember as well, if you want to go to Supper Club and have the best steak of your life and have a few appetizers, a dessert, bottle of wine, you can do it as affordably as any other restaurant in town. But the experience at Supper Club is unmatched. Introduced open seating at the bar, first come, first serve. So if you knock off of work, you want to head by Supper Club, you can walk in without a reservation, see if you can grab a bar stool or a table by the bar as well. Have a great dinner, maybe cocktail, close some business. Book your reservation, supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team colors, team swag, and now your very own website. LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always, no paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net. Powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
I'm Doug Brown. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports Dolphins corner Artie Burns has a torn ACL. He'll miss the 2025 season. He got hurt during Wednesday's first training camp practice. In the wake of turmoil with the NFL Players Association, ESPN's Don Van Natta Jr. says players who just signed new deals were hurt.
When they signed them, they had leverage that they could have had to get more money, to sign better deals with the owners that was kept from them. I mean, that's really the consequences of what Lloyd Howell Jr. did. He did the NFL owners a favor. He did Roger Goodell a favor.
Don Van Natta Jr. on Clinton and Friends. NCAA President Charlie Baker says a decision on whether to expand the men's and women's basketball tournament should come sometime this fall. That means it's unlikely there would be any changes in 2026. Terry Bollea, known better as Hulk Hogan, died at his home in Florida today after a reported cardiac arrest. He started as a wrestler but became a pop culture icon.
Your summer drink is here. Twisted Tea is a smooth, refreshing, hard iced tea with 5% alcohol, making it the perfect drink to take any day this summer to the next level. Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
That's right.
Welcome running hour number 2 after further review, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Musso in for Moscona, Jacob Beck and Paul O'Neill along for the ride as well, and glad you are here with us as we begin hour number 2. Clemson took their turn at ACC Media Days here on Thursday. We'll get to that momentarily. Dan Lanning talking college football playoff at Big Ten Media Days. Ross Jackson still to come as well. Give us a boots on the ground report from day 2 of New Orleans Saints training camp. All right. ACC Media Days wrapped up here on Thursday. Clemson was part of the final day. So figured this is as good a time as any to really kind of look at Clemson more in depth for the first time and start to kind of look at the matchup between Clemson and LSU on August 30th. Clemson has gotten a lot of flowers here early, and for good reason. What they return is 80% of the production from a team that won the ACC and made the college football playoff a year ago. They have a guy in Cade Klubnik at quarterback who many believe has what it takes to win the Heisman Trophy and be the number 1 overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft. You throw all of that together, and yeah, you're going to have a lot of hype. But what questions does Clemson still have left? Is that hype warranted? And I will look squarely at returning production first and foremost in this conversation. Yes, 80% returning production is massive. Leads Division I, 85% just on offense returning. 75% on defense. You want to break it down, 80% altogether. But in today's age of college football, it really hasn't mattered much because the transfer portal is so prevalent. Of the last 4 national champions, Only Michigan in 2023 was ranked in the top 10 in returning production. Of the last 4 ACC champions, only Florida State in 2023 was ranked in the top 10 in returning production. There is something to be said, and don't get me wrong, Clemson was a very good team a year ago. They were not elite. They were not great. They were very good. They played in a conference that was not deep. No matter what bill of goods Rhett Lashley wants to sell you, they played in a conference that was not deep. And they won, stole a bid, and got into the college football playoff. So I think even with returning production, there is something to be said. Okay, you bring all of that back from a team that snuck in. You bring back 75% of your production on defense from a team that struggled mightily defensively. Clemson ranked 84th in run defense a year ago. Even further, when you look at pass defense or the run defense even further, 113th in yards allowed per rush, not including sacks, by the way. Clemson in sack rate, 44th. And that was despite TJ Parker having 11 sacks. So you have really good standout players like TJ Parker, like Peter Woods on the defensive line, on the defensive side of the ball. But those guys were on the team a year ago, and Clemson struggled. The main question with Clemson's defense isn't the talent level. It's, can Tom Allen, coming in as the new defensive coordinator, get those guys into shape to where they perform better as a unit? Like, I look at a guy like TJ Parker, Peter Woods up front, and I say, man, you know what? Yeah, that can give LSU a lot of problems bringing in an offensive line that is starting 4 new guys up front. On the road, it's going to be loud. It's going to be raucous. You're facing talent like those guys who Parker and Woods both expected to be first-round draft picks come April. A defensive line in general that is drawing comparisons to the line that featured Cleveland Farrell and Dexter Lawrence and Christian Wilkins. That line that helped Clemson to 2 national championships and a 41-3 record. Like, everyone looks at Deshaun Watson, and he was awesome in college, and it was a major part of those teams. But Clemson in the trenches on those teams, specifically on the defensive side, was excellent, and that's what they're hoping. That's what they think they have this year, talent-wise. But where's the execution? And that's going to fall on Tom Allen, because I'm going to tell you right now, Clemson should have an advantage game number 1 over LSU in the trenches with that defensive line against a new offensive line from LSU. Like, that should matter immensely in this ballgame. But that also factors into returning production. You're bringing back guys who, while talented, did not have success as a unit a year ago for Clemson. Not the success becoming of a national championship and college football playoff contender. It's just, that is what it is. Like, that's really not disputable. There's a reason they got ousted in the first round rather handedly by Texas. Cade Klubnik, the offense on the other side, they were pretty darn good a year ago. Antonio Williams back was on the cusp of a 1,000-yard receiving season a year ago. And he's back along with Wesco, with Moore, with all those guys. And they even brought in a portal acquisition on the wide receiver side. They did so as well defensively. And that's the other part of this there. You look at a guy like Will Helt, who was brought in from Purdue to hopefully mix up and help the pass rush opposite of a guy like TJ Parker. So they've mixed and matched a little bit there as well. But the thing that really stands out from Clemson is they are a veteran team with a lot of production returning. And Dabo Swinney was asked about having a veteran team, and is that the linchpin into cementing them once again as a national championship contender?
Well, I mean, it's awesome. I mean, experience, as they say, that doesn't come at a discount. Like, we've got a bunch of great young men, our quarterback especially, that's had to, manage success well, and he's had to manage some failure well too. And, he's grown into a great leader of our team. And, the experienced guys, we have most of our team back. I think it's a close group. They've done football life together for a few years now, and they've had some success. And certainly last year, and getting a chance to kind of maybe get a little glimpse at the top of the mountain, that's certainly given them a little fuel as they've gotten back to work since January. But they have a very clear vision of how they want to finish. Now they got to go do the work.
And that's the end of it right there. Now you got to go do the work, because you were all together a year ago, and you've been together for 2 years really now. Clemson played a lot of freshmen, a lot of sophomores the last 2 seasons. Now you have a lot of juniors, a lot of seniors that are together again. For me, and this is going to be a familiar refrain, LSU is going to have to be able to run the football in this game. That is where Clemson's defense struggled the most a year ago. And LSU is going to have to try to exploit that early and see if they can't establish a running game to just let the rest of it kind of fall into line from there offensively, really get Nussmeier into a rhythm in the passing game with the help of a running game. If that was Clemson's biggest weakness a year ago, test it early. Even with the new offensive line, even against the very talented defensive line, test it early and see if the changes that Tom Allen has made have really put it together. This is a trenches game, 100%. Between LSU and Clemson. Do you have a little bit of concern about LSU's secondary going up against Cade Klubnik, giving how much of a weakness that has been for LSU the last 2 seasons, really? Sure, you do. 100%. But you also feel really good about LSU's front going into this game as well. So for me, I look at this and I say, man, really, it's LSU's O-line versus Clemson's D-line. Can you open up holes in the running game, a place they struggled mightily a year ago? Can you give Garrett Nussmeier the right amount of time in order to pick apart the rest of the Clemson defense? Because LSU's offense is talented enough to have plenty of success against a really good Clemson defense. But the matchup's going to have to be won at the line of scrimmage. And that does give me pause. But the question for Clemson is, okay, you've got all these guys coming back. Have they taken the steps necessary to improve on what hampered them a year ago? As much as LSU is going to be put to the test early, so is Clemson. Because LSU has the type of offense that can exploit you if you haven't made those necessary steps here early first game of the season to improve. We'll see. We'll see. August 30th, LSU, Clemson, 6:30 kickoff. Tigers and Tigers. They both open camp next week. All right, we're going to grab a break, come back on the other side. We'll kind of switch over to Big Ten Media Days. Dan Lanning talked about the college football playoff when he met with reporters in Vegas, and he's looking for an earlier end. I've got some thoughts. Talk about it next here on AFR.
AFR.
Hotel and the Renaissance Hotel, 2 beautiful hotel properties in Baton Rouge, the Watermark downtown, the Renaissance Southtown right there on Bluebonnet. And when it comes to hosting your event, both the Watermark and the Renaissance are perfect. The Watermark is a gorgeous, elegant spot in downtown Baton Rouge. That wedding reception, that smaller gathering, that meeting space, they can do it. They've kept so much of the history and tradition of that iconic building while modernizing it. The Gregory is a great restaurant inside of the Watermark as well. And then, of course, the Renaissance Hotel, Southtown, right there on Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge. It's more modern. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous hotel property at the Renaissance Hotel where they have meeting space that can accommodate up to 500 people, 7,000 square foot of meeting space, perfectly located right off of Bluebonnet and I-10. It's the Watermark and the Renaissance Hotels in Baton Rouge.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
With bold leadership and a growing population, Louisiana is rewarding excellence, attracting high-value companies, and fueling opportunity. Louisiana is winning now, and the sky is the limit. With every region and industry growing across a beautiful state that's more than a culture, it's a community with a quality of life that's more than satisfying. It's sustainable because the Louisiana you thought you knew is better than ever now. Come home, Louisiana.
River Parish Contractors has immediate openings for structural steel shop fabricators. Call or text Big Jake today at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com and click on employment. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Huh. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
AFR is brought to you by First South Farm Credit. You know where to start. Your first call, your first visit, your first option when it comes to buying land in Louisiana is First South Farm Credit. And honestly, it doesn't even have to be land in Louisiana because First South Farm Credit can help you buy land in any of the contiguous 48. And they've got more than 40 branches in Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. So if you're right here in the Southeast, there's First South Farm Credit locations all near you. But remember, like, for example, let's say a lot of our audience in New Orleans, of course. You're living in New Orleans, maybe you're starting to build a family, grow a family. You want to move to the North Shore like a lot of people do. You want to buy the 100 acres in Tangipahoa. You can. And First South Farm Credit can help because they have an office in Amite. So you can walk in there, you can do business with someone who talks like you, lives where you live, and help you buy land wherever you want to buy land in the contiguous 48. It's First South Farm Credit. If you're thinking of buying land, your first call, your first option should be First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthLand.com.
Big Ten Media Days in Vegas. Those wrapped up as well today. Dan Lanning took to the podium. This was on Wednesday. And started talking about the college football playoff and not necessarily expansion. He was more focused on the timeline of it. Just get right into this and read it to you word for word. Quote, I'd be in favor of creating our playoff system to mirror every other playoff system in sports. The season's over, and the playoffs start shortly after. The long break is something I'm not crazy about. I wish we played every single Saturday in college football. I wish college football ended January 1st. Dan Lanning. Preach, brother, preach. I could not be in more agreement than I am with that for a couple of reasons. And look, it makes a lot of sense why Dan Lanning's the guy trumpeting this. His team finished number 1. They were the top seed in the playoff. They were the only undefeated team, left in college football. They had to wait 25 days to play their semifinal, their quarterfinal game. 25 days. Now, they also got run out of the Rose Bowl, but that had less to do with the layoff and more to do with their draw and the crappy seeding that the college football playoff put forth for the first year in the 12-team format. But 25 days is just too long. Yo, the 2 weeks you had just between the end of the season and the end of the regular season and the opening round, too long. You didn't start first round games until December 20th and 21st a year ago. There's a couple reasons, obviously, why. Well, for one, you have the standalone Army-Navy game the week after Conference Championship week. And I know that's going to ruffle feathers. You'd have to do away with that in order to make this work. But I'd be in favor of it because here's why. You look at this, you see 2 weeks from the regular season end, or really 2 weeks from Conference Championship weekend, actually, where you get the first round games. Then 25 days from the end for teams that have the bye. And then ultimately the championship game is played on January 20th a year ago. Yo, I'm not going to say it completely diminishes the hype around the playoff, but those delays don't help it. Like, was anyone really jazzed for that national championship game? I mean, the ratings suffered clearly. I think you find a way to have conference championship weekend. You'll still have first round buys, right, in the playoff. But as soon as conference championship weekend's done and the playoff field is set, let's go. Very next week. Let's have the first round games on campus the very next week. Teams are in rhythm. They're ready to go. Would it come at a price? Yeah. You might not have your full team at total health. And that's unfortunate. But you just keep moving through your process. It makes the most sense. I understand there's other hurdles. We'll get into those. But another reason that I would really like this to happen is it prevents the college football playoff from having to go head-to-head with the NFL playoffs, which you are just never, ever, 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 ever going to win that battle. The NFL in Week 18, that's what it would put you head up against, is Week 18. The NFL in Week 18, starting this season, is going to play Saturday games. You'll have 2 games on Saturday during Week 18. That's a bummer. But if you designate this New Year's Day, it won't always fall on Saturday. You could have a Monday national championship. You could have a Tuesday, a Wednesday, a Thursday, a Friday, Saturday and Sunday. And yes, then you'd have to go head up with the NFL. And you know what? That would stink. That would stink. But you'd really be clear of that for the entirety of the playoff leading up when you're going up against the NFL regular season and they're only playing on Sundays and you're playing on Friday and Saturday. It puts a better spotlight on your sport, on your game. I'm sure the Rose Bowl would piss and moan because they'd lose their New Year's Day game. And that'd be a whole nother issue. But eventually they'd fall in line because they've done that at every step of the way throughout this entire process. The other thing that it could do that I know coaches would hope is alter the offseason calendar with roster building and transfer portal. Dan Lanning talked about that. Quote, January is supposed to be your month that you're able to go on the road as a coach and recruit. Last year's national championship game was January 20th. So when do you go on the road to recruit? There's just some things where I don't think the season aligns with the calendar in a lot of ways, and I wish it would speed up. Now, he also offered questions to how do you make sure it doesn't condense the regular season more, which, quite honestly, I think is just an excuse. I mean, you're playing, what you're seeing right now anyway is mainly two buys. This is 2 years in a row that college football is going to have two buys for the majority of the teams, right? And you're playing week after week after week after week anyway, including conference championship. Like, there's not a week off in between the regular season and conference championship week. No, you keep rolling through it. You can do this fine the way it's set up if you really wanted to. Like, it is possible. It is possible. But Lanning offers, quote, I'd like to start week 0. A lot of teams play week 0 already. I'd love to say Big Ten championship, then the next Saturday is a playoff game, then the next Saturday there's a playoff game. And you just start week 0, and you could build in a little bit extra time there. Now, I've already said I think you can do it the way you have it structured now. Would it be taxing? Sure. Would it be, would you have to get through some hurdles? Of course, but it is possible if you really wanted to do it. It is possible. Tony Petitti, the Big Ten commissioner, who's just had great things to say all week, did talk to ESPN about an NFL-style schedule, said it would be, quote, tricky to pull off. He says, quote, it requires a lot of combining and compressing the regular season. Does it? Does it really? You're not talking about the regular season, Tony. You're talking about the postseason. It's tricky to try and get everything done as early as you want. Is it physically possible? Yes. But it requires real compression in how you play. I think it's partly in trying to wrap the season off so you can get some of the tough portal decisions that we're facing about where that goes, and you can just complete your season and then get on to building a team for next season. I don't really see the problem in his answer. I really don't. You're correct. You're trying to wrap the season. Most coaches want there to be one portal window in January. Now, how that aligns with the academic calendar and everything, you figure that out, whatever. But that's when they want the portal window to be. Some of them want one just in the spring and whatnot, and okay, fine. But the majority, it's January. This could help allow for that. I think it gets more eyes on your game. It keeps people engaged in the college football game more often. You don't forget that, the college football playoff's still going on, guys. Where you had those back-to-back weeks of great games. You get down to Ohio State and Notre Dame, and you even have another week in between that, and it's like, oh, yeah, that's right, the national championship game's on Monday. That's not where you want your sport, your game to be. I would be all in favor of this. All in favor, and take whatever casualties come with it from a scheduling standpoint to make this happen. Because I think it could do nothing but wonders, even and bring even more eyes to college football that you already have. So I say, yeah, let's go ahead. Let's get this done. Dan Lanning, credit to him. He said really the first thing out of Big Ten Media Days that I agree with all week. Even if it did largely start because his team fell behind 34-0 in their playoff quarterfinal. But again, that wasn't really due to the layoff. That was due to you getting a crappy draw because the seeding was flawed and you had to play Ohio State, who you had already beaten once in your first game. Bring it on. Give me a New Year's Day finish every single year for college football. That's already a huge day for you anyway. Make it your day, year in, year out. All right, grab a break. Come back on the other side. You didn't think we'd get through the entirety of college football media days without the topic of realignment being brought up, right? Well, the ACC, they've got you covered for that. Talk about it next here on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Action Industries, proud partner of LSU Athletics. ActionIndinc.com. That's where you find them online. You can find them on LinkedIn as well. And one of the things that I tell you often about Action Industries that I really respect the most is Action Industries, they know who they are as a business. They've been around since 1982. So in 42 years, they've really developed a reputation among the petrochemical and refinery markets. And so when it comes to those contractors, these industrial and commercial contractors, like their safety record is exemplary. The work that they do is exceptional, which is why they thrive on repeat business. Well, you don't keep getting hired for 42 years if you're not doing great work. That's Action Industries. But also they know who they are. There's some giant companies that do these mega projects, and they're not going to bid on a $200 million project. But if you have a 100-man job, that's their sweet spot. They're perfect for that. You need to get to know Action Industries. ActionIndinc.com.
River Parish Contractors has immediate openings for structural steel shop fabricators. Call or text Big Jake today at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com and click on employment. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. This, it's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Savor game day platters and snacks, plus drink specials at 1717 Kitchen and Cocktail. So come out for game day and let our team make you the MVP. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
At Atmos Energy, our smart choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
Quick reminder about Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com. lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. They're the best. If you are, gentlemen, thinking about popping the question and you're thinking about where am I going to go buy that diamond, I want you to consider this. There are places that will sell you man-made lab diamonds, but what are you buying? It's according to its makeup and characteristics, sure, diamond. But is it going to hold its value? Like, is that the way you want to say, I love you, I want to spend the rest of my life with you? Go to Lee Michaels. Go to Lee Michaels. Walk in the door. Experience the thing I talk about all the time, which is the Lee Michaels experience. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry with 10 locations. Baton Rouge, 2 locations in Baton Rouge. New Orleans, Lafayette, Shreveport, Mississippi, Texas as well. 10 locations across 3 states. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Thrill her, gentlemen. Thrill her with a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry.
Welcome back in. AFR, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing here on a Thursday. Musso in for Moscona. Earlier on Thursday, there was a report from Inside Carolina, and it was picked up by Sports Business Journal, On 3, like a bunch of different media outlets, that North Carolina is one of the teams, emphasis on teams, one of the teams exploring an exit from the ACC. And that North Carolina, quote, is at the front of the pack in doing this. Now, let's explain. Because not only are they exploring an exit in the future, they're aiming to land in the SEC. A couple of reasons why this is possible. Jim Phillips, the commissioner of the ACC, when he gets up at the podium at Media Days this week, as you might expect, as he's supposed to do, he presents a united front. The teams want to be in here. He went out of his way to talk about the Clemson and Florida State lawsuit that was settled and presented it as a more as a compromise rather than a concession. Make no mistake, y'all, that was a concession. Clemson and Florida State set out to, I want to say, take down the ACC, but change some things in that conference with the bindingness of that grant of rights media deal, and they did it. They did it. That deal is no longer ironclad like it was. And what you also saw is a decreasing in the league's exit fee pretty significantly year after year until it levels off at $75 million. Clemson and Florida State came out of that looking great. They got accomplished what they wanted ultimately to get accomplished. And that is making it easier to leave the ACC when that time comes. It certainly feels like no matter what united front Jim Phillips wants to present, that the ACC's days still are, in fact, numbered. What that settlement did was buy them time. So you might ask now, why is North Carolina at the front of this? First and foremost, change in leadership. That's ultimately why. Their chancellor, Lee Roberts, is approaching 1 year anniversary of being named the full-time chancellor. He was the interim in 7 months prior. Steve Newmark is coming on in August at North Carolina as the executive associate athletic director, but really he is the athletic director in waiting, and he will succeed Bubba Cunningham next summer. So you're going to have a new chancellor and a new athletic director in there, and y'all, they are already taking plenty of risks and being very, very aggressive, whether it be the hiring of Bill Belichick. And now, according to the report, I will read directly from it, that what the new chancellor and the athletic director in waiting have been able to do is get everyone else around North Carolina in lockstep with this idea. Previously, a lot of the academics at North Carolina wanted them, if they were going to leave the ACC, to join the Big Ten. Now, Roberts, Newmark, they've turned that around. From the report, quote, "Make no mistake, now multiple sources told Inside Carolina the SEC is where the Tar Heels are aiming under the leadership of Roberts and Newmark should UNC move to leave the ACC for another league, perhaps in the near future." So this is something that they are very, very serious about. The next logical question is, okay, when can this happen? That's where you get into the exit fees for the league. I said the settlement that the ACC was able to strike with Clemson and Florida State bought them time. Kind of like a stay of execution, if you will, right? They are pretty much locked in through at least June 2027. If a team looked to leave the ACC right now in like the next go round of it, 26, 27 as calendar, it would cost them $147 million. That's what they would owe the ACC. The very next year, 27, 28, $129 million. Once you get to 28, 29, that's when it starts to become a little bit more manageable. It drops to $111 million. The year after that, 93, and then in 2030, 31, $75 million, and it levels off there. While that's still substantial, it's definitely more doable. It is definitely more doable. What's interesting in this report from Inside Carolina is it's noted. Hold on, I have to find the quote. I lost it. That's my fault. That North Carolina obviously would become the most manageable, like we said, at 2030, 2031, and that is basically kind of like a final mark. I think what the words they used were a final mark of demarcation, but they punctuated that with if they don't leave earlier. Now, North Carolina's leading this pack. The other team involved, you guessed it, Clemson. Clemson desperately wants out of the ACC, and I would expect Florida State would follow suit very soon after that. So those are really the three, and right now, North Carolina kind of leading the pack. The other question you are probably asking is, why would the SEC want North Carolina? And it's the same answer we give all the time when we talk about this. You're not in the state of North Carolina. That's a whole new market, which means more revenue, more eyes, more exposure for the league, for the network, for everything. It's why when you brought in Texas A&M, you also brought in Missouri. It's why when you brought in Texas, you also brought in Oklahoma. It puts you in different states, in new markets. This would do the same thing. Okay, you bring in Clemson. Well, you also already have that state with South Carolina, so you bring in North Carolina. It strengthens you in basketball even more than you already are. It strengthens you academically as well because Chapel Hill is a great school. And it gives you ultimately the North Carolina market of that state where the SEC network would be all across it. And it's just more eyes and more revenue. The interesting thing is, you'll remember a year ago at SEC Media Days, 2024, when Greg Sankey gave his State of the Conference address, he brought up realignment and said that the SEC was content to stay at 16 for, quote, a long, long time. Kind of putting to bed that immediate changes in the conference were imminent. That was 2024. You get to 2028, and you only, if you're North Carolina, 111 million, you think that's doable? That's 4 years removed from staying at 16 for a while, for a long, long time. We're content to stay there. Content, not saying they will. 4 years a long enough time to welcome in a new program? Yeah, it is. You get this all the way to 2030, 31, where they're looking just 75 million? Yeah, that's definitely long enough. That's 6 years. 100% it's possible. The other thing it does, what does Greg Sankey always say? Loves the contiguous map. The rivalries and everything are very, very important to the SEC. He wants the states touching. North Carolina, that would satisfy that requirement for Greg Sankey as well. This isn't imminent. This isn't going to happen next year or even the year after that. But it's being put out there for a reason. Because it is something that's being explored. And it is something that could be coming in the next 5 or so years. And I'm here for it. Bring it on. Bring it on. That's what the leadership over there wants. They're being aggressive. One thing about those two guys, they know how to make money. And that's going to be music to the ears of the SEC. You look at Steve Newmark, who's coming in to be the new athletic director at North Carolina. His previous role was the president of Roush Fenway Keselowski Racing in NASCAR, where his priority was revenue driving and fundraising efforts. That leadership can make a bunch of money. You can get a brand new market. Yeah, the SEC would be very, very interested in North Carolina. It's off in the future, but we'll keep you posted. See if the rumblings do pick up as we go through this season and next offseason as well in college football. All right, we're going to grab a break, come back on the other side, close out hour number 2 of AFR Tigers and the Pros. Stay here.
After further review.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. If you've been injured and it's not your fault, do what injured people in Louisiana have done for more than 30 years. Call Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. 888-8888. It's all eights. 888-8888. I don't even need to give you the area code because no matter where you are in the state, it doesn't matter. Just dial 888-8888 for Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Gordon does an awesome job, man. He's a great person. They've been so invested in our communities with all the charitable and service work that they do. They give back into the communities that they represent, no matter what time of year. If it's the bike giveaway for kids around Christmas time, if it's the laptop giveaway around back to school time, if it's the charitable work they do during October for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, they're always involved in the community. We tell you all the time, of course, about the G team and what Gordon's done with NIL and the opportunities that he's afforded student athletes. Just a great, great community partner. If you've been injured, you need representation, go to getgordon.com. That's getgordon.com. Get Gordon and get it done.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Value Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $22,500 off MSRP on the brand new 2025 Ram 1500 Laramie with $22,500 off MSRP with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
Businesses like yours are the soul of our community. You deserve someone who'll deliver the internet services you deserve. That's why local businesses rely on Rev Business, 90 years of building connections. Visit us at letsrev.biz.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies. We've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability. Because your well-being is more than a priority, it's our purpose.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
We're brought to you by Rouse's, Rouse's.com, Rouse's.com. They got Rouse's everywhere, y'all. Speaking of which, you need to save some money? Go to Rouse's. Get the weekly ad. Go to Rouse's.com. You can click on the weekly ad. You're going to shop for your groceries. You're on a budget. Rouse's is going to help you save. Or just go to Rouse's and look for the Rouse's branded products, because one of the most impressive things about Rouse's is whenever they have that Rouse's, the R logo with the circle around it, you see that Rouse's branded logo. So their products, they always do whatever they can to source locally. Whatever ingredients they can source locally in Louisiana, they do it for their products. And they're going to save you money. Great quality products to save you money, and always a friendly atmosphere as well. It's Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com. Rouse's, this feels like home.
All right, wrapping up hour number 2 here of AFR, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. We do so with Tigers in the Pros. Take it away, Beck.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
All right, you got a little bit of MLB action yesterday. The Reds and Nationals, a couple of players, one from each of the teams there. Jake Fraley coming back from his injury, playing pretty well so far since he's gotten back. He was 2 for 4 yesterday with a couple of singles and a run scored and an RBI. So nice day for him. And Cole Henry was on the mound for the Nationals. He pitched two-thirds of an inning, 1 hit, no runs, no walks, no strikeouts. So got through 2 outs there. The Reds did win that one 5-0. And then with the Rangers, Josh Smith Still playing pretty solid. He was actually pitch hit in this game. He didn't get the start. Went 0 for 1 in that one. The Rangers did end up winning that one 2-1 against the Athletics, not the Oakland Athletics, if you will.
The Sacramento A's.
And Grant Taylor pitched for the Chicago White Sox, and he got an inning of work, no runs, 1 hit, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. So Grant Taylor, nice little appearance for him. The White Sox got the win there 11-9, and I think that is it.
Oh, Grant Taylor. What a what if.
Yeah.
What a what if. You went through a couple what ifs there, obviously, with Cole Henry as well. Grant Taylor potentially pitching for that 2023 squad would have just been...
would have been nice.
Man, that would have been just laughable is what that would have been. Oh, man. Nonetheless, obviously wish him a lot of success. He's having a great year so far with the Chicago White Sox. All right, we're going to grab a break. Come back. SportsCenter at the top of the hour. They get you caught up with all the national headlines, and there's plenty of them here today. When we come back, straight up 5 o'clock, Ross Jackson going to join the show, give us the boots on the ground report from day 2 of Saints training camp. What stood out? Quarterback battle, and with a pretty solid day with the defense. We'll ask all about it with Ross here to kick off the next hour. Y'all stay here. Hour 3 is next.
After further review.
It is my pleasure this week to welcome our new partner on to After Further Review, Our Lady of the Lake. Of course, great partnership as well as the official championship health partner of LSU. When you think who takes care of the LSU athletes, well, it's Our Lady of the Lake and the physicians there. Game-changing care, keeps athletes at their best, builds stronger, healthier Louisiana for all of us at every level. I've told you about my experience throughout my life living in Baton Rouge at Our Lady of the Lake, from volunteering at the Ronald McDonald Playroom to helping raise funds through so many different fundraising efforts for the standalone Children's Hospital to taking my son to see specialists there at Our Lady of the Lake Children's Hospital, to my own personal health. My GP is Dr. Kurt Chastain with Our Lady of the Lake Men's Health. It's good enough for the LSU athletes. It's good enough for me and you, of course. It's Our Lady of the Lake. You can learn more at ololrmc.com/LSU.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
We're Rev Business, a local provider with nearly 90 years of experience. So when it comes to business in Louisiana, we know that personalized service is key. And we're here to go the extra mile with all fiber solutions that deliver what every business needs: reliability and quality. We're not just providers. We're the local team dedicated to helping you succeed. True partnerships are homegrown. Rev Business, internet, phone, managed services. Visit us at letsrev.biz.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. ESPN's Adam Schefter reports Dolphins cornerback Artie Burns will miss the upcoming season with a torn ACL. He goes on IR today. Burns also missed the 2020 season for the Bears with a torn ACL. Even without the friction between quarterback Tua Tagovailoa and wideout Tyreek Hill, ESPN's Damian Woody has doubts about this team.
The Miami Dolphins situation bears watching. Mike McDaniel, he has to I think he's in trouble this year. I don't think they're a very good team. I got serious questions about the quarterback. I got serious questions about how they built their roster. I got serious questions about their locker room.
Damian Woody on Unsportsmanlike. Missouri football coach Eli Drinkwitz gets a contract extension through the 2029 season. 45-year-old Venus Williams plays a second-round match tonight at the D.C. Open. He beat Peyton Stearns in the first round. Australian Ben O'Connor wins stage 18 of the Tour de France. Tadej Pogacar extends his overall lead to almost 4.5 minutes.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. At Progressive, we offer auto, home, and commercial auto insurance, plus a variety of business insurance options to cover your small business needs and more. Visit Progressive.com today.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
That's right.
Off and running hour number 3 after further review. Musso in for Moscona. It's Thursday. We're presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Jacob Beck, Paul O'Neill along for the ride, and we are delighted to have you along for the ride as well as begin our final hour. Thank you for making us a part of your Thursday. Well, Thursday came with a lot. From the end of Big Ten and ACC Media Days to an executive order involving NIL to Clemson talking some LSU as well. And, of course, day number 2 of Saints training camp, which means quarterback battle. Ross Jackson was there, saw every moment, every snap, every play of Saints training camp here on day 2. He joins us now, of course, on Twitter X at Ross Jackson Nola, LouisianaSports.net, and Locked On Saints. Ross, how are you?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks so much for having me on.
Absolutely. Thank you for making the time, as always. Okay, let's just kind of dive right in. It was Tyler Shough's first day with the Ones. What'd you think?
Yeah, I mean, look, this was the opportunity that we were waiting to see. He had a little bit of a tougher day yesterday, was under a lot of pressure and a lot of duress with that second-team offensive line, second-team defense, kind of getting everything together that first day of training camp. Today, I think you saw him a little bit more comfortable. His throwing stats are going to look a little bit worse than they actually are because he had 2 throwaways. He actually was second in college football last year by Pro Football Focus's charting of throwaways. This is a part of his game to eliminate, negative plays. But, I mean, in training camp, I think you'd like to see him maybe take some more of those risks and just go ahead and, try some things that he wouldn't try in game otherwise. But it's a challenging thing when you're trying to put good stuff on tape because you're competing for a starting role here. So it's a little bit of an awkward negotiation for any player. But I think that you saw him a little bit more maybe composed, a little bit more calm today in the pocket, able to get the ball out quickly. He's got great ball location whenever he gets the ball out, particularly when he's going to that intermediate or deep area of the field. So I think you're watching him continue to take steps forward and progress. The way that he talked about it was that he very much felt like, he got better today from where he was yesterday, and I think I'd absolutely agree with that.
What about his chemistry with the first-team offense, Ross? Is that something that was noticeable?
Say that one more time.
What about his chemistry with the first team offense?
Chemistry.
Was that something that was noticeable?
Yeah, I mean, I think the guys that you've seen a lot of the chemistry with are guys that he's worked with over the course of the offseason. Remember, he went out to Oregon to do a workout or a throwing session with a lot of guys organized by Brandon Cooks. You saw him go to Dallas as well to work with some other players. So I think what you saw is that stuff really paying off, in particular his chemistry with Rashid Shaheed. Now he said he's got to put it in a little bit of a different gear when you're throwing to Rashid Shaheed because of how fast he is. But, I mean, he threw 2 touchdowns today, and both of them went to Rashid on kind of these crossing patterns where some of that speed can make it really, really challenging to get the ball out in front of a receiver in those situations where they're working laterally kind of sideline to sideline. And so I think that that's one player you could certainly see all of that off-season focus and all that off-season work really starting to pay off in terms of the chemistry that's being built.
All right, Spencer Rattler. Obviously, he was perfect yesterday, 9 for 9 on Wednesday, day 1. Takes his turns with the 2s on day number 2. How'd it go for Spencer Rattler?
Yeah, I mean, not as strong a day today as he had yesterday. He also ends up throwing the first interception of camp on a play that he was trying to throw out of the back of the end zone, but then maybe didn't get enough under it. And so Quincy Riley and Mason Tipton were kind of in that area. And so as he tried to get that one out of the back of the end zone, he mentioned that he didn't get enough air under it. So Quincy Riley does what it is that he was famous for doing during his collegiate time at both Middle Tennessee and Louisville, and got himself the first interception of camp. And so I think that the next play, though, is really a big part of what you're looking for these quarterbacks. And this was something that Kellen Moore talked about, that quarterbacks are going to throw interceptions, but what's more important to him are how these guys respond. So the very next play, he comes in and his team drills, red zone drills, he runs in for a touchdown right after that. So I think that what you saw was a really clean day up until the interception, but then an immediate response to that, getting back in and finding his way into the end zone. So these guys, I think, are going back and forth. I would consider it neck and neck after 2 days, but I think that's what you would hope to see after the first 2 days of camp.
For sure. I want to ask you something about Jake Haener, too, momentarily, but you mentioned Rattler running it in. Through 2 days, have you noticed more mobility out of these quarterbacks? Like, is that something that Kellen Moore really, really wants? I mean, obviously, he comes a year ago with Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a couple of things that kind of lend itself to exactly that. The first thing is that yesterday, the first day of training camp, we saw 2 designed runs, it looked like, for Spencer Rattler. So that's one thing. The other thing is today, Tyler Shough was kind of talking about how, there's different levels of opportunities to make plays on every snap. And so he mentioned that sometimes it's either now or later is kind of what Scott Tolzien, the quarterback's coach, has been teaching them. And so the idea being it's either now in terms of making that play in rhythm, getting the ball out and making the play, or it's later after you've extended the play. So he talked a lot about second action plays. And so when you get those opportunities to kind of scramble, get outside, and extend the play, then you have another opportunity to go out there and get that ball somewhere where you can, move it downfield or throw the football away. And so it's a lot of kind of negotiating those. But all of those are also examples of utilizing athleticism and utilizing the rushing ability or movement ability of both of these quarterbacks.
Yeah, it doesn't always have to be like a, take off, carry the ball, and run type deal. Okay, Jake Haener. Reading the tea leaves a little bit today, Ross, tweets, some reports. It looked like Jake Haener had a pretty solid day out there. I know Kellen Moore said he's going to get some action with the ones in some capacity on Friday. What have you made 2 days so far with Jake Haener?
Yeah, look, I actually think that Jake was the more consistent quarterback out of the 3 today that threw passes. But I think that this quarterback conversation is very much firmly in between Tyler Shough and Spencer Rattler, right? Like we're not gonna pretend here, And so I think that the organization has been very firm that this is a 3-man race. This very much still feels like a 2-man race, even down to the idea that Spencer Rattler got the first crack at first team drills because he had more experience than Tyler Shough, which was a glaring omission of Jake Haener, who has technically more NFL experience than both of those guys going into his 3rd year while Rattler's going into his 2nd and Shough is going into his 1st. So I think the context of action kind of shows you where everything is, but I don't think any of that bothers Jake Haener. Jake Haener is supremely confident. It's one of the things I've always credited him with. And he's a really cerebral player. And he talked about that in his post-game presser today, that, he always has been the underdog. He's always been in quarterback competitions, and he's never been picked to win the quarterback competitions, but he has often won those quarterback competitions. I think that will change in this situation. But I think that what you continue to see from Jake Haener is a comfortable player who's really, really smart, who sees the field well, and is certainly very quick and decisive. That was always a big thing last year. But now we're watching Spencer Rattler be more quick and decisive too. So now you have some kind of combat in that compliment. So I think that it's an uphill battle very much for Jake Haener, but one that I don't think that he minds fighting.
Talking with Ross Jackson, LouisianaSports.net, Locked on Saints podcast. Of course, you can get him on Twitter, X, at Ross Jackson NOLA. Ross, you mentioned Shaheed and the chemistry that he has with Tyler Shough. How about Shaheed and Olave? They're both out there, both full go. How are they looking?
Yeah, I think both of these guys look great. I think Shaheed has been a surprise since OTAs when we weren't even sure if he was going to be out on the field. And not only was he out there on the field, but he looked just as fast as he's always looked. Like, I don't know how to explain it. You guys know from watching, LSU practices and seeing these guys in action down here in New Orleans too. But, for the fan at home that gets to watch on television, it's so hard to translate how fast Rashid Shaheed actually is. But when you see him in person, it's just it kind of blows you away. And he still very much has every bit of that speed, despite what ended his season last year being knee surgery, right? Yeah. And so I think that that's a big highlight for him. I think for Chris Olave, what we've seen is a lot of chemistry with Spencer Rattler. Interesting that Spencer Rattler was given second-team reps today, but still had a lot of Chris Olave to throw to. He actually targeted Chris Olave on 3 different plays, connected twice on those, and then also had a jet sweep that he handed off to Chris. And so we saw a lot of Chris Olave with Spencer Rattler, even though Spencer Rattler was taking second-team snaps. We saw a lot of Juwan Johnson with Jake Haener, even though Jake Haener was taking third-team snaps. And even though Tyler Shough was taking first-team snaps, he was working with guys like Trayton Welsh in the first team. So it's still a lot of shuffling around that's happening with these players. But I think that the chemistry and the comfort level that you see from both Rashid Shaheed and Chris Olave with the 2 top young quarterbacks, I think is really, really notable. And you're seeing sort of all that off-season work that those guys put in Oregon and Arizona and Dallas, all kind of culminating here in New Orleans, where it doesn't look like they've been apart from one another since mini camps.
Let's get a few on the defense here real fast, Ross, before I let you go. The red zone period today, it looked like the defense kind of dominated that. Correct me if I'm wrong, the only touchdown they allowed was the one to Shaheed from Tyler Shough. How much of that was the defense being really good, or how much of it was maybe the offense not executing at the highest level?
Yeah, look, I think when we talk about the NFL game, we're talking about a game that's very much catered to offense. Yeah. And so I think in any time that you see a defense stand up and perform in a red zone and in practices and things like that is very much all about what the defense did. And I think that that's symbolized pretty well in a couple of different things. The first of which being pass rush. We continue to see guys like, Chase Young get into the backfield. Chris Rumph can remain both days. Chris Rumph has flashed, a guy that doesn't get a lot of shine as one of those edge rushers that was added this offseason. Seeing some guys from the defensive interior get into the backfield like Nathan Shepard. And then, of course, the big interception by Quincy Riley. But on top of that, we also saw two times today that a ball was punched out. One time the play might have already been dead, but it's still something that coaches will still look at on tape and say, hey, don't let that happen a fraction of a second earlier, because then it would have been a fumble. And then yesterday we saw Cam Akers, get a ball punched out by DeMarco Jackson and recovered by Christian Boyd. And so I think you're just seeing a really the entire identity or personality or philosophy of that Brandon Staley defense is to attack. And we're already watching a defense that's ready to attack. So I give them a lot of credit for their performance, especially in those short area situations where the field shrinks. There's a lot of congestion you have to work through. They seem to be kind of on the same page pretty early.
I loved that when I saw that it was Quincy Riley that got the interception. That brought a smile to my face. We just hadn't been able to see the guy yet so far through the preseason. To see him out there performing like he is so far, that's pretty awesome. Last one for you, Ross, also dealing with the defense. Safety rotation, was it any different from yesterday? I know yesterday was Howden and Justin Reed running with the ones.
Yeah, mostly still Howden and Justin Reed running with the ones. I think the thing that looked most different today was, of course, with the addition of Julian Blackmon, some things kind of shuffled around. And so the third team rotation included some Julian Blackmon as he's, kind of getting acclimated and first day out and stuff like that. So he's going to start with the threes and then probably move up from there. And so because that kind of created some shuffling around, guys like Elliott Davison and JT Gray and Julian Blackmon all kind of shared some third team reps with a couple of second team reps. And then we also saw Ugo Amadi step into some second team reps today next to Jonas Sanker, the young rookie. So I think that'll continue to shuffle around, but it was interesting. And I'm glad that you asked this because it is an important highlight that Jordan Howden, who, is maybe the more is all of a sudden the most experienced New Orleans Saint, at least, at the position. He was the guy next to Justin Reed for 2 days in a row since Tyron's retirement.
I said that was the last one. I had one more. Anything from Jonathan Bullard? I know he was out there today.
Yeah, he had some early reps, or let me not say early, let me say limited reps, kind of similar to Julian Blackmon, right? Okay. First day, showing up, getting into action, wearing number 58. Julian Blackman's wearing number 28. And both of these guys got, a few opportunities here and there, but for the most part, they were just kind of, I would call them, very well in terms of the process of acclimating to the acclimation period, if that makes sense. And so that will continue to kind of ramp up over the next few days, I imagine.
He is Ross Jackson, LouisianaSports.net. Going to have a great detailed write-up from practice over there. It's free. Go read it. Locked on Saints, of course. Get subscribed. Follow him on Twitter. X, Ross Jackson, at Ross Jackson NOLA. Ross, we appreciate the time as always, man. Thank you.
Back at you, buddy. You take care. Stay safe. Appreciate you having me on. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. Sounds good. That is Ross Jackson. We'll grab a break. We will come back on the other side. Stick around.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Clegg's Nursery with 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Siegen near Airline, LA 16 in Denham. Mid-City on Don Moore, Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. You know those 4 locations, and what an awesome time to get by Clegg's Nursery because they still have every single day shipments of flowers coming in, plants, trees, shrubs. You want to beautify the exterior of your home. You want to add that pop of color to your flower bed, to your patio pots. Maybe you got unwanted pests like ants or snakes or mosquitoes, wasps. They can help you take care of all of them. Maybe you got weeds coming up in your lawn. You want to get rid of that. Maybe you got dead spots in your lawn. The horticulturists, the professionals at Clegg's Nursery have the knowledge, the know-how, the expertise, and all the products you need to win Yard of the Month every month for your whole life. Guaranteed. Actually, I can't back that up. You have to do some of the work, too. It's Clegg's Nursery.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. Breck, your #1 park system in the nation.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Wall-to-wall TVs mean you'll see every touchdown in HD. Place your bets and feel the thrill of every play with our DraftKings Sportsbook. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. ACDC, Pearl Jam, and the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
As we get on down the road, remind you about South Point Volkswagen, airline just north of Highland, and southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. You know, one of the things that's really worth stressing when I tell you all the time about why I love driving a Volkswagen. Remember, at South Point Volkswagen, their vehicles are manufactured right here in the US of A. So you get the great German engineering, safety features, performance, all of it, without the cost and the benefit of supporting American jobs. But even more importantly right now, as people talk about tariffs and rising costs and all that stuff, these vehicles are manufactured in the US of A, so you don't even have to worry about the tariffs and all that conversation. So another benefit of shopping at South Point Volkswagen, Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer, and they're awesome people as well. Volkswagen, so much it's a culture, it's a vibe, it's fun to drive, and they're fun to deal with as well. Airline just north of Highland, South Point Volkswagen.
All right, so the big national story of today, if you're just hopping in your car, just getting off work, maybe you haven't seen it. President Donald Trump signed an executive order probably about 2 hours or so ago that took aim at pay for play in college athletics. Basically, what this order does is it prohibits third-party pay-for-play payments. It also directs the Secretary of Labor and the National Labor Relations to clarify that athletes are amateurs, not employees. And there's some stuff with Olympic sports and women's sports that we'll get to here momentarily. But the main objective here is get rid of the third-party pay-for-play. Now, it does not get rid of NIL. The order specifically states that the prohibition, quote, does not apply to legitimate, fair market value compensation that a third party provides to an athlete, such as for a brand endorsement. So what they're looking at there is trying to legitimize NIL. What this does is it basically just magnifies the initial guidance. It tries to bolster the initial guidance from the college sports commissions, which said NIL collectives wouldn't be approved under the NIL Go clearinghouse. Now, it's also important to note that guidance, Front Office Sports reported this earlier this week, that guidance has been challenged and a basic agreement was reached to treat collectives like normal businesses. But ultimately, what they were trying to avoid is just booster-backed, school-backed collectives that were just shoveling money for rosters, pay for play without any deliverable really attached to it, which absolutely is happening around the country, like 100%. And I think that even just really was exacerbated by the House settlement coming and revenue sharing coming into play as well. So what this is attempting to do is legitimize NIL. Now, the caveat is it is unknown what entity will have authority to enforce this prohibition of third-party pay-for-play payments. That was not noted in this order. I guess that will, come in time. That's intriguing and interesting, though, because obviously with the House settlement, that ushered in Deloitte as the clearinghouse for NIL deals over a certain amount of money. I think it was $500? All of those had to go through the Deloitte clearinghouse. I don't know if this would kind of in the same go through Deloitte, or if this would be an arm of the federal government that would be in charge of kind of overseeing and enforcing this executive order. One thing's for certain, though, university presidents, conference commissioners, hell, even coaches, they have been lobbying for this for a very, very long time. Some type of federal involvement. I mean, y'all, Greg Sankey at SEC Media Days talked about this and talked about, his quote was, the president clearly has an interest in sports, big picture, has an interest in college sports. He's been at our games. The notion of an executive order has been mentioned before, so we'll wait and see. This is something that has long been discussed. And you saw the formation of the College Sports Commission and whatnot. And now here comes this executive order. I'm fascinated to see how this is actually going to play out, because it doesn't matter if it's the federal government or not. People have always tried to circumvent the rules and get around whoever is enforcing them to benefit themselves. That's just how things work. Hell, the federal government's done that plenty just to themselves. But I'm not here to talk politics. It's not my lane, and I stay in my lane very much. So to see kind of how this goes. Now, for what it's worth, the impact that this might have on the House settlement, in terms of revenue sharing happening, doesn't. Revenue sharing is a thing. That is not going to stop. Athletes are going to get their money out of revenue sharing. Front Office Sports notes that there is some language, though, in this executive order that does address revenue sharing. It says, quote, this is in terms of revenue sharing, quote, should be implemented in a manner that preserves or expands scholarships and collegiate athletic opportunities in women's and non-revenue sports. Now, the way that reads to me is it's not saying schools can't allocate the rev share how they see fit. It just has to be done. Like, it's not saying, okay, you cannot give 75% of this to football anymore. You have to balance it out. It just says revenue sharing cannot come at the expense of the expanded roster limits, the scholarships, and it can't come at the expense of cutting those programs. That's how that, when I hear should be implemented in a manner that preserves or expands scholarships and collegiate athletic opportunities in women's and non-revenue sports, that basically says, you know, you can't exclude them to such a degree that they go away. It is also worth noting that earlier in the Trump administration, the Department of Education reversed guidance that said it would consider revenue sharing payments subject to Title IX. That's why, again, I look at this and go, yeah, it's not saying, okay, you can only give 5% here and you can't do that anymore. It's, they just can't go away. And you know what? I think that's a great thing. It's going to force schools to get creative and find other revenue streams to help keep some of those Olympic sports afloat and things of that, where you were going to see programs be cut across the country. So preserving that, I think, is very important, and I'm fully in favor of doing so. 100%. Those athletes deserve the opportunity to compete in college and all those things as well. And there's, even with paying the players a share of the revenue, there should be plenty to go around, enough still with the new revenue streams you're creating to keep those programs afloat. You know, it's Jay Billis's old line that he always point out something, a big revenue windfall in college athletics, and he'd always say, but there's not enough money for the players. There is enough money for it to go around. You just have to get a little bit more creative, and you're seeing that. That's why eventually there will be a sponsor patch on LSU's uniforms. There will be sponsor logos on the fields. The NCAA will change those rules eventually because you have to. This is going to help usher that in, but I'm fascinated to see ultimately what this ends up meaning for collectives, how it is enforced, and if there's legal ramifications, if it's not. I think that's what's going to be really fascinating in all of this. But that is the national news of the day. President Trump has signed an executive order relating to governance of name, image, and likeness, as well as Olympic and women's sports. So, third-party pay-for-play now prohibited outside of legitimate NIL with a brand sponsorship or a deliverable. As we get more, we'll continue to pass that along. All right, we'll grab a break, come back on the other side. A potential target for the Saints at tight end, well, he's on a visit. We'll tell you where. That's next, AFR.
AFR.
If you are thinking about selling your home, maybe you've been on the fence, you've looked at rates and everything, like if you do sell, can you afford to buy the next home? Listen, the market right now is in fuego. I was talking to Darren James over the weekend, and he was like, Matt, this is the start of 2025 is the best start we've ever had. I'm telling you, consumer confidence is back. It is time right now to check out Darren James. Agent225.com, agent225.com. Yes, in Baton Rouge, but all over. Like, I just opened this one up. This is a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom condo in Slidell that Darren's selling right on the water there on Harbor Drive. You can check it out, 129. You can check it out right now at agent225.com, agent225.com. Listen, buying, selling, commercial, residential, you need a realtor, you need the best, you need Darren James. 335-7666 or agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Flight by Yingling. Raise the bar.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Businesses like yours are the soul of our community. You deserve someone who'll deliver the internet services you deserve. That's why local businesses rely on Rev Business, 90 years of building connections. Visit us at letsrev.biz.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team colors, team swag, and now your very own website. LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always. No paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net. Powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
Breck teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
Always a pleasure to tell you about our friends at the Williamson Eye Center. Check them out online at williamsoneye.com. They've got locations all over the greater Baton Rouge area. On the Baton Rouge General Campus, I mean, you turn off a Bluebonnet onto Picardy, you make that right. And then right there at the stop sign, the building on the right, the first 2 floors, that's the Williamson Eye Center. State-of-the-art dry eye center, and it's full service. Of course, they have their state-of-the-art surgery center there where you can have your LASIK or whatever surgical procedure you're having. But they have your standard annual eye exam as well at the Williamson Eye Center. Learn more at williamsoneye.com. The thing I tell you every day is take the advice that I was given and change your life. To give yourself the gift of sight is absolutely incredible. If you're someone like me who spent your life with contacts or glasses, there is a way to be done with it forever. williamsoneye.com. Go see Dr. Blake Williamson for that free consultation. 924-2020. 924-2020 or williamsoneye.com for the Williamson Eye Center.
All right, so kind of throughout the week, we've been talking about the possibility of the Saints targeting free agent tight end Noah Fant. He was released from the Seattle Seahawks earlier in the week. On Thursday, Jordan Schultz was first to report this. On Thursday, Fant visited the Bengals and had a workout for them as well. And apparently there is heavy interest there between Cincinnati and Noah Fant. For what it's worth, I mean, the Bengals are in need of tight end as well. Mike Gesicki, Drew Sample, and Tanner Hudson are their tight ends. I mean, we'll see, obviously, how that visit goes. If there's a deal struck, what do they always say? If you're going to bring a guy in for a workout, you want to get him signed that day. Don't let him leave without ink on the paper and a deal done. We'll have to see that. For what it's worth, I mean, the Saints publicly at least have not expressed any interest in Noah Fant, but they have expressed potential interest in adding another tight end. Kellen Moore did this on Wednesday in his post-practice media availability. He was asked about the tight end room because, look, you got to remember, Foster Moreau, Taysom Hill, they're both on PUP here through training camp. They will probably start the season on PUP as well. Like, it's not out of the realm of possibility that you might not see them all year. Like, we'll have to wait and see. Those are significant knee injuries that they are recovering from, and Foster Moreau's happened in January. So it's not, you're not going to get a whole season out of them. It's not really guaranteed you get anything out of them. And Taysom Hill, you might explore some type of deal there, right? So it is a position that the Saints still need to address. Now, Dallin Holker retires. You have 8 tight ends, but, I mean, you look at Wednesday's practice, Juwan Johnson's running first team, and then you go to the second team, and you have Trayton Welch and Jack Stoll running as your tight ends if you're the New Orleans Saints. Trayton Welch, we just had Ross Jackson on with us earlier in this hour. He said Trayton Welch was getting first team reps at some point throughout camp on practice day number 2 on Thursday. That's just not a great spot to be in if you're the New Orleans Saints. So, look, again, while they have not publicly made note of their interest in a guy like Noah Fant, that is your best option remaining in free agency at the tight end position. And that's a guy who could immediately come in if you are the Saints and be a playmaker and could really start at tight end for you, and you could end up doing a lot of different things with a guy like Juwan Johnson. He could become a real hybrid player for you there, and you could really maximize his skill set, which is catching the football. It's what he does best. When you have a guy like Noah Fant who could come in there and kind of do everything you need him to do. We'll see what the Saints do. But again, Noah Fant visits and works out for the Seahawks here on Thursday. Looking now to see if there is any type of update there, if there is a deal in place or whatnot. And I'm not seeing that so far. I mean, 14 minutes ago, Aaron Wilson, Noah Fant completed free agent visit with the Bengals today. So that's it. We'll see if he boards the plane and heads out without ink on the paper and a contract. And then, of course, he'd still be available, obviously, if the Saints wanted to go pursue that. I personally think that they absolutely should go ahead and pursue Noah Fant because, man, I don't really think I knew. Well, I don't want to say knew, but realized really where the Saints tight end situation was because all the focus was just really on offensive line and the quarterbacks, and then Tyrann Mathieu retires, and it's just like, oh, wait a minute. When you look at it and you go, oh, Juwan Johnson and then Trayton Welch? Like, again, not meaning to be disrespectful to Trayton Welch. It's just like, oh. When you go into last season, and it's like, man, you got Juwan Johnson, Foster Moreau, Taysom Hill. Like, just keep going. They're really high on Dallin Holker, right? And now it's just like, oh, that's where you are. So here's to hoping that the Saints can strike some type of a deal. If it's not with Noah Fant, maybe another tight end in free agency that's available, although Noah Fant really is still the crown jewel, obviously, of that class. While we're on the topic of the New Orleans Saints here, we got to hear from the quarterbacks and from Kellen Moore. What's interesting, though, is the focus has been so much on Tyler Shough, Spencer Rattler, and then, okay, there's Jake Haener. You heard Ross Jackson when he was here with us earlier. If you didn't, I mean, he said he thought that Jake Haener is actually the most consistent of the three quarterbacks so far through the 2 days of camp. But Kellen Moore, this is 8-bet. Kellen Moore was actually asked about Hunter Dekkers today as well, and what they kind of want to see from him as he gets his feet wet as an undrafted rookie.
Certainly develop in every aspect. He's with Scotty a ton during post-practice, pre-practice. He'll sneak in there on occasion. And so, as this training camp goes, he'll certainly get his opportunities and he'll be ready to contribute in these preseason games as well.
I'm going to be fascinated to watch him actually in the preseason when he does get in. It certainly sounds like they like Hunter Dekkers an awful lot. Again, that's another guy that Kellen Moore and this front office together identified and went out and got as an undrafted rookie. That's a guy he obviously very clearly likes. I just find it hard to believe that Dekkers has a spot on the 53. That Dekkers, has a spot on the 53. When you look at a guy like Jake Haener, I mean, that is kind of your perfect number 3 quarterback at this rate. It's a guy who's been in the league for a couple of years, has experience starting in the NFL, somebody you would really like to turn to there potentially. Could Dekkers find his way onto the practice squad? Absolutely. I mean, I don't think that's anywhere near out of the realm of possibility, but I just think it's when you have this competition that you have going, that you're keeping Shough and Rattler, and you have a veteran like that a guy with experience in Jake Haener who has been fairly consistent already so far through training camp, even maybe on the outside looking in of this quarterback competition. It's just hard for me to believe that he would lose his spot, maybe to an undrafted rookie. And then the other thing from Kellen Moore today, he talked about Julian Blackmon. They brought him on. Obviously, he was out there at camp for the first time today. You heard Ross say he was running with the third team a little bit, just kind of getting his feet wet, easing him in as he learns the system and installing all of those things. But Kellen Moore did talk about what they liked about Julian Blackmon and why he was the choice in free agency.
Yeah, I mean, he's a big-time player. Julian, he's played in this league for a number of years now, played at a really, really high level, productive. He's got ball skills. He's got a great feel for the game. He's got a really diverse background as far as playing corner in college, playing some safety, and so he brings some versatility, and so we like that about him, and we're fired up to get him.
It's a really intriguing signing. He's 26 years old. We talked about this yesterday. I mean, he's 26 years old. He has 300 career tackles so far in 5 years. He's incredibly tough. 10 interceptions so far in 5 years in the league as well. And you heard Kellen Moore even there talk about the versatility in college, but even in the NFL, I mean, he has played deep safety, he has played nickel, he has played field. Like he has played a lot of different spots there in the defensive backfield. So the thing is he going to stay healthy? Like we talked about him being tough. And, man, he's tough. tore his labrum in the opener a year ago with Indy, played in 16 games and was very productive, had over 80 tackles, 3 picks. Like, you heard him talk about the ball skills that's on display with the 10 interceptions. It's the health thing. Not just the torn labrum a year ago, but IR ended his season in 23 and in 21. So it's a health thing for a guy like Julian Blackmon. I mean, that's why he has remained unsigned, even with the resume and the production that he's put forth. That's why he remained unsigned until late July and right as training camps were being done. So here's to hoping that guy stays healthy and he can contribute for the New Orleans Saints this year, because I like that you still got him pretty young, 26 years old. Like, that's solid. But the injury factor there is notable. Is notable for a guy like Julian Blackmon. And I made it through that whole conversation calling him Julian and not Justin. I'm very, very proud of myself. All right. We're going to grab a break here, come back, close out the Thursday show, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Musso in for Moscona. Scone's on vacay. Final vacay for Scone before he really comes back and dives into football. Boy, he's missed a lot this week. We always joke every time he leaves, he misses like big stories. He's missed Tyrann Mathieu' retirement. He's also missed, today, the executive order, which, y'all know, Scone loves his NIL, man. That would have been right in the wheelhouse. But I'm sure he'll get caught up on that when he's back here on Monday. All right, we'll grab a break. Come back on the other side. Ask us what we learned. Get in the Bayou Ford YouTube chat. Drop in your questions for Ask Us. You can tweet me your questions for Ask Us at Musso Matthew. Paul, Beck, me will answer those to close out the show next here on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Glow Resources. If you are a business owner, if you're an HR manager, a VP, an ops manager, if you're the person in charge of hiring at your job, at your place of business, and you're having trouble finding the right people, you need Glow Resources. And I want to remind you, Glow Resources, they're exceptional when it comes to skilled blue-collar workers and also white-collar divisions. Remember, Glow Resources has a full professional placement division. So we're talking about office administrators, executive-level assistants, assistant controllers, plant managers, scheduling assistants, basically any type of office job. Accounting, HR, marketing, managerial, supervisor roles. If you're having trouble finding those people and sometimes hard to fill roles, Glow Resources specialize. They recruit nationwide. For example, they had a Baton Rouge company that was looking for an engineer. They found the employee in Florida to work the job in California. It's Glow Resources. Check them out online today. glowresources.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $22,500 off MSRP on the brand new 2025 Ram 1500 Laramie with $22,500 off MSRP with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Luba Workers Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Parish Construction and Roofing.
This is Coach Kim Mulkey. Go to parishbuilt.com for all of your roofing needs.
From your hometown, parishbuilt.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Healthcare for your lifestyle. Learn more at decisioncriticalbr.com.
Brought to you by Parish Construction Roofing, parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Tell you every day do business with someone you know. That's me and Terrio and Richard Tilley and Joe Morales and Trent Davis and our whole staff. We appreciate everyone so much who's given us the opportunity. Our commercial roofing manager, Matt Pearson, sent us all a text that we were just awarded a large commercial roofing job today, and they heard us talking about it. Yes, of course, at your home, any roof repair, replacement, we love to help you out. We can install gutters for you. We do soft wash, do all of it. But I want to remind you that we are a commercial roofing company as well. So if your commercial building needs a new roof or repair, you have any issues whatsoever, we have the best guy. We went and scoured the world and found Matt Pearson in Florida, and we brought him to Baton Rouge. I'm convinced there's not a soul alive that knows more about commercial roofing than Matt Pearson. So if your commercial building is having any roof issues, roof repair, replacement, or you just need options, trust me, have a conversation with Matt Pearson. We'd love to help you out. Parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com.
All right, as we close out the show here, actually, on AFR, I'll admit I'm not the biggest trading card guy, like baseball cards and whatnot. This is awesome, though. So Topps is bringing back the Joy of Baseball collection. If you're unfamiliar, which I was until literally this break, it is a collaboration with the estate of Bob Ross, the painter, where they take action photos of Major League Baseball players and put them over like peaceful nature scene paintings like Bob Ross used to always paint on the show. Topps announced this today that it was coming back, released July 31st. The picture they used on their Twitter is a baseball card of Paul Skeens, 1 of 1, throwing a pitch with like this beautiful, peaceful mountain, snowy, like Arctic scene with his autograph on it. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. That's not even the best part, though. I mean, there's going to be Shohei Ohtani. Like, there's a bunch. So, I mean, look, if you ever have just thought, man, Paul Skeens, what could make that better? Bob Ross. Well, this is the baseball card for you. But the thing that makes this even better is there's also a 1 of 1 Bob Ross signature card in this as well. It's just Bob Ross, afro and all, paintbrush, sitting at like the easel, painting on a baseball card. And it's going to be 1 of 1 in these. And that is freaking electric. Like, I think that is absolutely awesome. Beck, yeah? Bob Ross baseball, we in?
Yeah, I mean, how can you not like that? I mean, it's a very creative combination, I would say, a very creative collaboration. I don't think many people would expect, except for the fact that they've done this before, apparently. I'd never heard of it either.
Never heard of it, man.
That's pretty neat, man. That's going to be, I'm sure that Paul Skeens card will be a very valuable piece.
So now Topps' website is asking if I'm a robot. I was trying to look at the 23 one. So the 23 one, it looks like also had like some legends in there as well. It looks like there was a Pete Rose card in the 2023 collect. I find this fascinating and actually very funny, to be honest with you. Just like, I mean, here's Juan Soto swinging a bat. He probably missed the ball too, by the way. But here he is swinging the bat just like in the wilderness. Like, it's ridiculous.
Perfect.
Yeah, man. Bob Ross in baseball. They go They go hand in hand right there. All right. Bayou Ford YouTube chat real quick. Easy E says, ask us favorite all-time dessert. That's easy. Bread pudding. Bread pudding is my favorite all-time dessert. Now, I will throw out the caveat that I am a chocolate fiend. Like, if you put chocolate anywhere near me, I'm eating it. But the only thing, like, chocolate's 1B. The only thing that I would pass up chocolate for would be bread pudding.
That's a very strong choice. I would probably have bread pudding. It's in my favorites for sure. I don't know about favorite all time. That's a tough one though, man. I don't know.
I love bread pudding.
You got one, Paulie?
Give me some milk and Oreos.
That's your favorite?
Strong.
That's pretty top.
No, that's
good.
strong.
No,
Like,
it is. I agree. It is.
Classic.
Yeah, and notice he didn't say milk and cookies.
Yeah, he said Oreos.
Oreos.
Yeah.
Like that's
Gotta be
the
Oreos.
yeah, it's got to it's Milk's favorite cookie, right? That's what they say.
It is.
Paul, how do you feel about the like all those like specialty Oreos? I think the golden ones are great. But
I like the golden ones.
Like Post Malone did one. There was another
They've done
celebrity
all
that just
kinds
did
of
an Oreo.
different,
Yeah.
like flavors. I mean, they've
I
done
mean,
like
the traditional.
Just, okay. Double stuffed, Paul?
Oh, yeah.
Has
Has to be.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
They had like the chocolate filling in the Oreo at one point, which I was just like, again, chocolate fiend. I was like, this is great. Milk and Oreo. That's strong. Actually, I'm not going to lie, man. That's, yeah. Who doesn't love that? All right, that's going to wrap it up here for Thursday edition of AFR, presented by Decision Critical Concierge Nursing. Thank you to Ross Jackson, who joined us earlier. Beck, thank you. Paul, thank you. And thank you to all of you tuning in. Be sure to come back tomorrow. We wrap up the week on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Shough Tire and Auto Service, ShaughBillsTire.com. 18 locations in South Louisiana. Find the location nearest you at ShaughBillsTire.com. Bumper-to-bumper auto service and name brand tires at wholesale prices. They will always find a way to get you the best possible price for the best possible tires on the road. That's what they do at Shough. And when they get you in by selling you the best tires, the cheapest price possible, they're going to treat you like family, and they're going to treat you so good, you're going to keep coming back year after year after year every time you need anything for your vehicle. Tires rotated, oil changed, check engine light on, brakes squeaking, whatever's wrong with your vehicle, bring it to Shough. Let them give it the once-over, and you can always schedule online, so it's convenient. ShaughBillsTire.com. Find the location nearest you at ShaughBillsTire.com. Shop tires online at ShaughBillsTire.com. Be sure to ask about the Shough credit card as well, because you can save $50 off your first purchase when you use the Shough credit card only at Shough.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary. For those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Huh. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.